Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes. On the Rebirth server, we are with our dark energy based brute, Quintessence Lass, who is Dark Melee Energy Aura. She's 14th level, having just got here, and we're already, I think, a big chunk of the way to 15. We have 39,000 XP earned, 4,000 to go to get to level 15, and 980,000 influence, which most of which was sent to us by our sugar daddy alt, Tiger Shrike, who has 150 or something million influence. We're on a story arc for Tal Shock the Mystic. We just got to 14th level and got this new power Siphon Life, which has not been enhanced yet, so it's just a blank slot. And he says, we need to move quickly on the information that you got from the Trolls leader, Asha. If Sam Wincott is really in the Circle's clutches, we've got to retrieve him at once. So, pardon me, I had to adjust the volume on my headphones. So we need to go try and rescue him from the Circle. And this is going to be our first chance to face the Circle of Thorns. I think our biggest problem is going to be hitting if they do have any of the Nervous Spectrals. They debuff us, but we debuff them. We're going to fight dark with dark and see how it goes. I'm having a lot of fun with this character, I have to tell you. I've been saying that all along. It's been super fun. It's been really fun. But let's talk about general role-playing, and that's something I've been doing with my other characters. So let's continue that. I assume some of the viewers who are watching along, if they came from having watched the Mastermind and or the Scrapper and or the Stalker, would expect me to do some conversation about those things. So let's start talking about D&D. There was a post today on the D&D Beyond forum. By the way, this isn't just D&D. This would actually be more applicable to something like City of Heroes or Champions, because those take place in an alternate version of our actual Earth, whereas Dungeons and Dragons usually takes place on a completely different world. Like the Forgotten Realms world is Toril, and that world is not Earth. It doesn't have the same continents or anything like that. Whereas City of Heroes, Paragon City is in friggin' Rhode Island, right? So it's like not only the same continent but the same country. It's the United States, right? And now let's try our Siphon Life and see how that goes. Nice. That is a cool power. It's a long recharge, so we're not going to use it a lot yet. We're definitely going to want to put recharges on that. Accuracy, recharge, and heal, I guess. Pretty cool, though. Look at that, and it heals us back up. That's so cool. So anyway, and look who we get to fight. Spectral Demons. I gotta go ahead and take an accuracy here because they're gonna try and debuff me. Yep, that's a debuff right there. I'm gonna do to you what you guys do to me, and I missed. And you can see how they're just building up these debuffs on me, which is really frustrating. See if we can heal up. That's great! So anyway, this would be even more pertinent to a game like this where you're playing in an alternate version of actual Earth, rather than playing in a world that's Earth-like, but not an alternate version of actual Earth. And this is where one of the DMs on the forum said he had a player who had said, I'm going to make up a character. My character is going to be, and he named like a real-life TV personality who's now dead. I won't name the person, it doesn't matter. And the DM thought he meant, I'm going to make up a ranger, and I'm going to base that ranger off of this real-life character. Right? No. What this player did then, that's what they said in session 1, and that's what the DM assumed, right? But what the player said then in the first session, when they actually were playing um, in roleplay, he said, "Hello, I am so and so from a different world called Earth, and I died there, and now I am here in your world getting a second chance at life." And the DM was like, "I didn't sign up for this. I don't want this guy playing a character from the real world. That's nuts." And so I just wanted to sort of address that. Um, yeah, I think that just makes everything too comical. And obviously, if you want to run a comical campaign, you can, and you should if you want to. But if you're a DM and a player comes up with a concept like this, you have the right, and I would argue, and Matt Colville has actually argued, you have the responsibility to tell the player, this concept does not fit in my world, and I'm not going to let you play it. I'm sorry, you got to come up with something else. Right? Just like when you have. Oh, this is defeat also. We got to crawl all over this map. Just like when you have a player who's made up a character that's abrasive for the party. He's stealing from the party. He's making everybody else miserable because he's doing this. And he says, "Well, that's what my character would do." And you say to them, "Look, we're all playing what our character would do, but nobody. The only person making everybody miserable is you." And Colville actually said in response to this idea, he said, "I guarantee you that there is a character that this player could play that he would find fun and would not make everybody else miserable. And similarly, I guarantee you that there is a concept that this guy trying to play a TV personality could play that he would enjoy, but wouldn't make a mockery of the game master's game." I mean, this guy is, as far as I understand, his world is the Forgotten Realms, right? You shouldn't be having people from our Earth showing up in the Forgotten Realms unless it's been agreed to by all of the players that you're going to play a campaign like that. And he said the other players were kind of looking at him like, what the heck? And I guess they all found it impossible to deal with it. I mean, how do you roleplay that? You're going to have a guy talking about microwaves and I miss television in the middle of a D&D campaign? That's generally not what most D&D games are designed to be like. Now again, if you want to make up a game like that, that's great. There's actually a comic book series. I don't know if it's still going. I've got the first few issues and then I have a whole stack of comic books that I haven't even read downstairs. They just sent me another batch from my comic book shop. I must have 20 of them I still haven't read because I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been busy reading H.P. Lovecraft short stories, and I've been busy playing, of course, City of Heroes and doing D&D and reading D&D supplements and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and stuff like that. So I haven't gotten around to it, and I haven't really followed this one comic. It was called Die, and I think a play on words in that, yes, it's about dice, but it's also about characters possibly going to die, right? And it's a really cool premise where this one guy who's an awesome DM or GM, for the birthday of one of the players, he said, "I'm going to make up a game." And he made up a game using different dice. And this character uses a 6-sided die, and this character uses 8, and this character uses 10. And there was a different player for each number of dice sides, and the DM gets to roll day 20. And somehow or other, by using these dice, they all got sucked into like the actual fantasy world that this DM had made up. And and they actually kind of played as their characters. And what you saw is they disappear and then they come back, and it's like for them it's a couple of years have gone by, and one of them never came back. The DM never came back, and then they live in our world for a while, and then they meet for like a reunion, and they decide to go find the DM, and they go back to that world. So in a case like that, when you have a game, if you're running a game like that, yes, it would make sense to be characters from the real world. But otherwise, you shouldn't be playing characters from the real world. It just does not work well. All right, so now why am I doing the defense right here? It's to try and stop this guy from hitting me with too many of his debuffs. And I'm trying to pound him as much as possible to debuff him so he can't hit me, but you can see he's got me pretty heavily debuffed and I can't hit him now, which is really annoying. So now we're both going to just whiff. Okay. Slowly, slowly, we'll get him. So these guys are going to be as annoying to this character as they were to my martial arts scrapper. Because I can't hit. There we go. One advantage we do have is we can self-heal like that. So I think once we get Siphon Life really enhanced, and I think we're going to maybe put plus heal on it. Once we get Siphon Life really well enhanced, I think what we're going to want to do is get rid of these greens and put some endurances in there so that we can use it a lot and not worry about running out of endurance. But we'll see how things balance as we go. Now I don't have an accuracy and inspiration here, so this is just going to be ugly. But there's nothing we can do. We just have to grit our teeth and get through it. And just live with the misses. There's just nothing we can do. Look at this. Does he have me floored? Let's see. Yeah. 61%. It's not that bad. I might have to run from this. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to have to run. Get a little extra resistance. Just need to rest and then come back. Yeah, so again, I'm not saying you shouldn't make a campaign that's fun like that. If you guys enjoy it, that's great. You know, if you and your friends at the table enjoy it, that's fine. But if you're trying to have a serious traditional campaign and this guy decides he's going to be, you know, like Bob Marley from Earth or something like that, that's not going to work. And as a DM, you have the right to say, look, that doesn't work in my world. My advice to that DM was to say, in my cosmos, in my cosmology, there is no quote-unquote real Earth. There is no, our world doesn't exist in my cosmology, so you can't be someone from that world. And that would solve it right there. And even so, being someone from the real world is one thing. Like, okay, you invent a character that came from this world and got transitioned to the D&D world. Okay, well, maybe. But being, like, playing an actual person from the real world is just messy. I would avoid that at all costs. I really would. It's not helping us that this guy has resistance to what we're doing, too. But that takes care of him. Hopefully we won't have too many more +1 lieutenants like that. His debuff to me is -8. That's really not that bad. It shouldn't be making me whiff that much. Oh boy. Alright, let's do a pull. Because I don't want to fight bosses while these guys are here. Because they're just going to debuff me too much. I might not be able to beat 2 bosses anyway without any inspirations. Yep, these guys are just brutal. Right, and you can see the difference between them and, say, the trolls. And I guess I really should have come in here. Whoa. Okay. I should have come in here with more inspirations. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and get a bunch of accuracy. So I'm going to pause this here and I'll bring you back when I've got them. Alright folks, we are back. We have plenty of accuracy. We may not need that much of it here. because these guys may not be debuffing me. Guess I need some extra defense. He's slowing me down, which is frustrating, but I'll take him out first. And heal ourselves, and then we take the Magma Lord, who shouldn't be a huge problem. Do some extra damage. Wow, that did 90 damage. We're doing 150% bonus damage. And there we go. We took him out. Found a clue. The mage's story. From the moment Sam Wincott stepped into the Hollows, we could taste the magic in his blood. That's why we manipulated the trolls into capturing him. Sam's magic blood keeps reaching out to all magical creatures around him. Creatures like the minions of Igneous. The entire time he's been here, he's been learning about their culture through his dreams. Eventually he learned the gateway's location. It was then a simple matter to perform a ritual that would extract the secret from him, but we didn't realize that the creatures who would respond to his distress, we performed the ritual. We learned the secrets, but we lost the boy himself. Uh-oh. That's not good. So we have to make sure we clean everything out, because this is a defeat all mission. Alright, so we've cleared out this section. My guess is it'll just wrap around, and there'll be maybe one more room over here. I love the Orn Bagel look. I mean, sometimes this can be a frustrating map to fight on, but it's certainly a cool looking map. Frustrating, well, not to fight on, just to like crawl through, because there are so many nooks and crannies. Okay, archers are no problem. Darn it, he moved. I love that self-heal. That is awesome. I like that it doesn't just self-heal you, it does damage to them. Oh, come on. Wow, I'm missing a lot. There we go. Yep, missing a lot. We definitely want accuracy on that thing so that we can hit a lot, which we're not doing in this mission, but we want to hit a lot so that we can heal ourselves a lot. Why am I missing so much? I had a 93% chance to hit, and I rolled a 94. That is just beautiful. Alright, so we've defeated everybody. We can head out and talk to our contact. Who says... So the Circle used Sam Wiccon's inherent magic to uncover the location of the Cavern of Transcendence. This is bad, Quintessence last. This is awful. As we speak, the Circle is probably moving in on the cavern, and Sam Wincott remains in the hands of the Igneous. I have a plan. I believe I can use magic to locate one of the Circle mages to give up, or to force one of the Circle mages to give up the location of the cavern. So we're going to need to change our inspirations around if we're going to be fighting an elite boss. It was difficult, but I have managed to subvert one of the Circle mystics. He will remain under my control long enough to guide you to the Cavern of Transcendence. Please go with him now, Quintessence lass. Okay, before we do that... guys, I think I'm going to shop for... I think I'm going to shop for 2 more Lux and another accuracy. think I'm going to want 2 more Lux and 1 more Accuracy. So I'll be right back as soon as I get those. Alright, we bought some extra inspirations from our buddy, I guess. I'll do it that way. We bought some extra inspirations from our buddy, and now we are going to talk to Talshak and get the mission from him. And the mission is really close. I don't know if this is going to be an elite boss or not, but just in case. Yes, I will guide you to the cavern, because I have no choice. What? And we got reward marks for that? That's weird. As I expected, Karis is fully under my control. You will have to gather a full team. Ah, okay. Cavern of Transcendence is a task force. So we're not going to actually be able to finish this storyline because we have a task force coming. So, that means I guess this is going to be a short episode because now I'm going to have to do some work with the detectives in Steel Canyon to get some more contacts. I'm not going to do... I don't think I'm going to do the Midnighters arc with you guys. Already done that a couple times on screen. So I'm going to leave that for off-screen work. But we are so close to level 15. Should we level up? Let's level up. Let's go to Steel Canyon. We haven't been there. And we'll beat up some guys on the street. Some outcasts or council or something. And then we'll get to level 15, we'll level up, and then I'll stop. Since it will be pretty quick. And since this has been a very short episode. I don't feel too bad about that since we've had some super long ones because I just can't stop playing this game. But, or more accurately, it's not just that I can't stop playing the game, it's I can't stop playing the Brute. Because it's super awesome. Alright, so let's head to the train station. And we'll go to Steel Canyon. And we'll just beat up some guys on the street as we head to the trainer. We don't need that many, right? We need 297 XP. And we're getting like 60 per guy, so like 5 or 6 guys will do it. Man, I love Atlas Park. It's so nice. I'm very torn. Sometimes I think I would like to live in Atlas Park. Sometimes I think I would like to live in Talos, and sometimes I think I'd like to live in Founders Falls. My main concern about Founders Falls is how many times the basement floods. You know, I would end up in like a first floor apartment where it's always flooding because of the water. In fact, I actually ended up in a first floor apartment that was kind of down from the level of the ground a little bit. So it was almost like a basement apartment, but it was technically first floor. And that thing used to flood every time there was a strong rain. And since I was in South Carolina, yeah, we used to get thunderstorms all the time. So there was this whole section near the window where I just couldn't put any furniture because the carpet got so wet that like if you stepped your foot in it, it would squelch and get all like you know there'd be like a watermark at the shape of your foot. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that was a pretty lousy apartment. And because of that, I always ask for apartments on the second floor thereafter. A lot of people ask for apartments on the second floor because they want to avoid like the noise of their neighbors because you hear more from above than below. But so if you're above them, you don't hear as much as if you're below them and they're walking around and stuff. But I just wanted it because I didn't want to get flooded. Alright, there's some orange cons, so we should be able to smack them around pretty easily and get a lot of XP from them. Man, I love doing that. I've always had that done to me, that drain life, siphon life, and now I get to do it back, which is awesome. And what I like is it can just keep your hit points up Look at that. We're still at full hit points. So we should be super close now. Yeah, 2 more guys will do it if they're orange. By the way, Supergroup, we've gained almost 7,000 prestige already. Okay, we got some whites here. Seal Canyon, one of the few other zones where they still have muggings going on, like they do in Atlas Park. Most of the other zones, they don't bother with that at the higher levels. You see it a little bit in Talos Island. You do see sometimes people, it's like Sue trying to steal like magic crystals from people, but most of the muggings in this town take place in Atlas Park, which is another reason why I don't know if I'd want to live in Atlas Park, because I don't feel like being mugged. Steel Canyon's pretty cool, too. I don't know, though. Here's a question, guys. What do you think? Are these buildings here, are these offices? Or are they apartments? I mean, this one looks like an apartment building, whereas this one looks like an office building. So I don't know. You tell me, do you think they're apartments, offices, or a mix? So we train up to our next level. We get 2 slots. We're going to finish stamina. And let's finish dampening field. So what do I mean by finish? It's a passive. The most it can take is 3 enhancements. After that, there's no point, because tripling this sort of maxes out the bonus you can get. You can add more, but it'll only add like a 1% extra. It's not worth it. In Tropic Aura, we don't really need to put slots on, because the most important thing that it does, besides Mez Defense, which you can't enhance, is recharge speed. But it says you can put recharge enhancements on it, but all that does is it enhances the recharge time it takes to re-engage the toggle, the 10 seconds. It doesn't enhance this part, which is recharge on everything. Remember, it ignores buffs and enhancements. Okay. So, and we also can't, this is also ignored. So the only buffs you can put are essentially buffs to resistance to things like hold defense and stuff. And the thing is, there are no enhancements for that. So it's a taunt field. Also, you can enhance the taunt. We don't care about that because we're solo. Reducing endurance costs we've already got. Reducing recharge speed doesn't matter. So there's no point to enhancing this. This is fully enhanced now. This is fully enhanced now as far as we're going to need it. So as we go up in level, we're going to be working on this side and whatever new defense powers we get. All right. I think that's enough for today. Until next time, I am Scarpalock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Rebirth server.